Hi folks, this is Don Meisner, and several years ago I did a TV show with Bill McCue in Canada, and we were fishing for pike and walleyes with bottom bouncers, something I'd never used before, and I gotta tell you, it would work as well today. I think you're really going to find this interesting, and I hope you enjoy it.
Well, that's a stump. That's all, yeah. It's all tight like that. And oh,
Big one.
Fish?
Good fish.
Is it?
We just marked a stump.
Is that a big fish? Because if it is, we should turn the motor off.
It's really giving me a tussle.
Let's turn the motor off.
It might be a pike.
You got one too?
Yeah, they were tight on the stump we had just marked.
Wow. You got a nice fish, Bill?
Ooh,
this is a nice one here you got, isn't it?
It's got a little bit of weight.
I think you're going to need to net that one. Maybe a big walleye.
Oh, it's a big pike.
Big pike.
He gave me a good tussle.
Here, I can get that. You get your you can get your fish, Claude, and I'll get that for him.
Well, don't worry about the net on this. He's not big enough to warrant it, and he'll probably tangle us up in the net as well.
Right. I never see a guy play a fish from halfway down his...
Well, I just want to be gentle with him. He's not big enough to cause any damage.
That's all right, Bill. I like it. Let me get over here and help Bill, unless, Bill, you don't need help.
No, I'm fine, Don. We'll get him.
Are you?
He's just a little green now. We'll get him quieted down a bit and get him out of the water.
Let's see your fish, too, here, Claude.
Just want to be careful he doesn't break me off. No, he can't. I changed to a wire leader. Remember I said earlier that I was afraid of that little short leader?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Did you lose him?
No.
We never saw him.
I'm sorry, folks. I really am sorry. Don knows this. You folks don't. I hate pike. But I got to tell you, they are one fun fish to fight.
Here, if you hate pike, take that.
No, you
Take
can have
that
your
little walleye.
I'm going to hold my own.
Take that little
I'm
walleye.
going to hold my own.
Since you hate pike, what Bill is really saying is he knows he screwed up and didn't land that fish. And rather than admit it, I know you've all met people like that. Rather than admit it, he had a comeback. But we all wanted to see that fish.
I'll show you another one.
All right. Well, if you've been watching how Claude and Bill have been catching fish, they've been using bottom bouncers. Now, I've been sitting back sort of watching and getting this technique. But I think now it's time that we learn what this whole thing is about, because it's so different and so effective in so many situations. Now, not just here in Canada. I told you that if you come up here to Canada, it really will help you catch walleyes. But it'll help you do the same thing at home, and not just for walleyes, just about any kind of fish that key towards the bottom.
Yeah, fish that key to the bottom, and it's a technique that's developed to fish wide open flat type areas where you got to cover a lot of water. You know? and the bottom bouncing principle is really simple, and full credit to whoever developed the system, because it's probably the most versatile thing that you can have in your fishing box. And it's a simple piece of wire with an L bend in it, swivel to attach the monoleader in your bait, a lead weight that I'm holding in my hand at the present moment. And what you do is you take this bottom bouncer in weights, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, depending upon the depth of water. For instance, today we're fishing 25 feet, so I'm using a 2 ounce bouncer. It gets you down to the bottom, and your bait is hanging off the back of this thing, and the absolute point of the wire is what's contacting the bottom. So your bait is back on a leader that might be 3 or 4 feet, excuse me, behind the bouncer, and it's right in the fish attack zone. Okay,
Which is 9 inches or a foot above above where this is bouncing.
You got it, because the fish see very well up. If you ever look at a fish, the shape of the fish's head, with the exception of bass where the eyes are pretty much off to the side, but your walleye, your pike, which we're fishing for today, their eyes are positioned so that they see up. They can't see very much to the sides, and they definitely can't see down. So what you want to do with bottom feeding fish is to have your bait presentation just a little bit higher than they're residing. Okay, it's very visible to them, and away you go. And what I'll show you now is that there are a number of different ways that you can fish with a bottom bouncer. What I've got here, because I've been catching pike today, is a wire leader on a bead chain swivel. Now this particular combination is, including the bait, is put out by a company called Northern Pro Lures. It's a Hydra bait with a calibrated weighted leader system. It isn't really necessary to fish this with the bottom bouncer, but I had it available as a long leader and just tied it on. What I'm presenting too as a bait today is pretty unique in that the head is what is produced by this company, and it'll accept a number of different varieties of rubber tails. And I've had a lot of success, different species of fish. Change the body shape is very, very easy. You can go from a fatter shad body to a longer, thin, smelt, shiner type body just by changing them, sliding them on and off. Different size heads, you can have that bait appeal to a lot of different fish.
Well, let me ask you something, Bill. Two questions come to mind. So you can use this bottom bouncing technique with any type of artificial lure.
I want to give the folks a little shot here or something. I love fishing with a harness. And like Claude, I make my own, and I make them in a number of different varieties, but just so folks could visualize this, if you're in your tackle shop, certainly the packaging is going to be a lot more attractive, but a lot of these blade baits, whether they be willow leaf, Colorado, Indiana, are the ideal thing to fish behind this thing, especially today. Like Claude is out fishing me 10 to 1. Live bait is working a lot better than artificials. These rigs are designed to fish either with a night crawler or leech, minnow, and they're usually excuse me, tied on at least a 40-inch monoline. So again, the bait's in the strike zone of the fish.
Right.
Just a great thing to use in conjunction with the bottom bouncer.
Well, now one other question that I wanted to ask you is, we're fishing over pretty level ground, like you say, a big area. What if the bottom is a different type of structure? Is there limitations to the structure this can be fished over?
If you get into broken rock conditions where you have 2-3 feet type changes in depth, you gotta be tuned in to what you're doing with the bouncer, because if you're coming up, there's a chance that you'll get this thing hung up on the bottom. And the beauty of the whole system is that with this thing tapping along, you can tell it'll actually vibrate a bit if you're going up a little bit of a rise. Just bring in a couple of turns of line on your reel. The easiest way to gauge what you're doing as far as retrieving line, a turn of the reel handle is generally somewhere between 18 inches and 24 inches. So if you wanted to bring your bait a foot off the bottom with the angle that you're fishing with a bottom bouncer, you'll do that with a couple of turns on the reel handle.
Okay.
So you can manage your depth of fishing just by cranking on the reel. When you don't have the sensation of bottom, just open the bail, drop the bottom bouncer back down until you hit bottom contact, and keep on going.
What species do you find that bottom bouncing is the most effective for?
Well, it was developed for walleye. I got to tell you, I use it for smallmouth bass, I use it for pike, I use it for muskie. It's a real versatile system. It gets your bait to where the fish are. And the orientation that I make here is that your walleye are a bottom feeder. And if you're looking for big pike, muskie, the walleye is their food. So if you're fishing in the walleye zone, your opportunity for catching the big northerns and the muskies is very, very much improved. And this particular system really presents it well for you.
Well, that's great, Bill.
Thanks, Don.
Okay, Bill, now I don't have my rod rigged up for bottom bouncing, and the one thing you said is my monofilament's too light on my rod because the rocks are going to give it a beating. So I had 6 or 8 pound test on, but you recommend heavier line for this.
Oh yeah, if you're going to bounce, you want a 14 pound, 20 pound sort of thing.
Okay.
You want a good strong main line.
Okay, so I'll use your rod and you can show me how to do this.
Sure, no problem.
All right, let's start from the very beginning.
Step 1, just let line out.
Okay.
Don't try to guide it,
Okay.
just let it free fall to the bottom.
Yeah.
When you hit the bottom, you're going to see slack immediately come into your rod tip.
There.
Like that's it, that's
Yep.
bottom.
Okay.
Now, what you got to compensate for now is boat speed.
Right.
So raise your rod tip back,
Yeah.
drop it down and see if you get a thump.
Nope.
No, let a little more line out, just a bit. A few turns of the reel. Try it again.
Yeah.
You got a thump?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're now tracking on the bottom.
Okay.
All right. Now the whole idea here, you try and maintain a 45-degree angle. Okay, and try to get a rod that has a good butt length to it, so you can get it underneath your arm. Okay, because that just relieves some of the strain and stress of trolling for a long period of time.
Okay. Okay. So then the whole time you just
but you'll have variations in the bottom, and you really want to follow tight to the bottom. Just every once in a while, raise your rod tip, let it fall back down, make sure you're maintaining contact.
okay.
If it should happen that you drop back down and you don't feel anything, you let a little bit more line out, and you know the bottom has changed, it's only been a foot or so, and you've lost contact with the bouncer, you're probably dragging it. Okay? So just bring it back up, drop it back down, reset again.
Okay.
It's such a positive system, you don't have to waste any time at all. It's not like trolling with a long line out where you're waiting for your crankbait or your whatever jig to bounce off bottom. Okay, you know you're on bottom.
Right.
Okay, so if you've lost the feeling, that little tap, tap, thump, thump sort of thing, you're dragging and it's not doing you any good, so just completely reset, start over again. It only takes a second or so.
Okay. Very good.
Give it another check, Don. Tell you, lots of times when you do that sweep, you'll get a hit. Because if the fish is following, all of a sudden lunch is disappearing on them, and they'll take an absolute lunge at the bait.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, those are great points, Bill.
And the beauty of the whole system, we're sitting here in, I don't know, 50 acres of water. We have no idea where the fish are. It allows us to zigzag, figure eight, hit any kind of trolling pattern, cover a ton of water very, very quickly, locate. If jigging's your style, use the bottom bouncer to find them, come right back, drop the anchor, jig away.
When this first hit, I thought I had bottomed. You hear me go, oh, I'm going to have to make you guys go back. This feels like there's a lot of weight here, guys. A lot of weight, Bill.
Yeah?
Yeah. You didn't realize while you guys were bottom bouncing and doing your thing, I figured, well, since both of you were fishing that way, and I promised everybody in the beginning that maybe we'd get an occasional pike, so I put the great big Hydra on, hoping that there might be a big pike around. And I got a hunch that this isn't too bad, Claude. It's hard to tell when you're out a long ways and when the motor's, no, this is good. This is good, I'll tell you right now, it's good. Look at that rod. Look at the steady,
Might be a big walleye.
Look at that head. No, he's not ready yet. He's not ready. He hit that bait sideways. Look at that. He hit it sideways. I can probably get him all right. Whoa! Boy.
What a healthy fish.
What excitement, too. What excitement. See, now, there again is Bill's story that he's been trying to weave through this and tell everybody, is the fact that follow the food chain, like Bill said. The pike are always going to hang out where the walleye are. They're always going to be there waiting for their actually easy dinner because there's so many walleyes down there. They just hang out, and then they move in and hit them. Now, this isn't going to be too easy, so I need some help. It's a nice fish, but you can see how deeply he inhaled that. If you have pliers.
Here's some spreaders, Don.
Okay.
Make it a little bit easier for you. Gotta watch those teeth. There you go.
Okay. I'm just letting everybody see inside his mouth so they can see the task that you got. Maybe I can do that easier before you.
Get him into the water fast.
Let me see.
Hold him by the tail.
Hold him right by. Okay. There we go. There he goes. There he goes.
All right.
Well, that's good. That's good. We hope that he
Don
made
won,
it.
fish won.
Yeah, that's fun. I just love to get those big fish. And as you can see, the size of the bait that I'm using is pretty, it's as big as a small perch or even a small walleye. And so that's why when we bring it through those walleye hotspots, I'm kind of like taking up the rear here and hoping that I can get a big pike in the thing. So let's see if we can get some more fish. You guys get the walleyes.
I'm ready.
And I'll see if I can get the old scavengers that are out there eating the walleyes.